For USCFootball.com, I'm Keely Eure here with Dan Weber. Instant analysis of day 11 of fall camp. Helton said it was going to be a light practice today, and it was. No pads, no helmets today, just a lot of special teams work.
A lot of special teams work. John Baxter putting in overtime today. He was doing everything, including making up stuff, I think. But they practiced defending the intentional safety by the other team. I mean, you're talking about, they had 30 guys that they're getting ready to be kickoff cover guys, and they walked them through, from the, 35-yard line all the way to the other goal line. Walk, step by step by step by step. The good news today is Michael Brown, probably, the scholarship and the leader who's been in the program a year, kicks the heck out of his kickoffs, and he has a good day when he's coming in and he's going to get to kick it off and kicking it through the end zone, kicking it in the end zone. He's a happy camper. He was a happy camper today. Didn't see any field goals. I don't think we did. No. So that was a good day from the standpoint of the place kicking. But again, it was a little glimpse, I think, of what we don't normally get to see on Fridays, but without a game, without the seriousness. And they had fun. They were throwing deep passes to the defensive linemen and trying to one-hand catch it. And poor Wally Batiku, he would, if they hit a contest for who could catch it with their feet, he wins hands down. If they catch it with their hands, that's not his strength. But some of those kids, Ichana Nwosu, Connor Murphy, Brandon Peely catches the ball well. But not Olawale. No, that's not something that he ever got to do in Nigeria.
But he was doing handstands, so he does have some hand coordination.
That's a good point. If he were doing handstands and trying to catch the ball with his feet, I think he's got a shot. He might have as good a shot doing that as catching it with his hands. But so that was some. They had some time off while they're doing all the concentrations on the special team stuff. They kind of made it up, like with the defensive, all the defensive guys. They're kind of, enjoying themselves because they're basically, tomorrow's scrimmage really matters, and it's a big deal, putting a lot into it. And so today was one of those days where you kind of recharge and regenerate your body in a long week, and come out tomorrow, 60 plays. That wasn't the goal last week. They probably almost got there, but that is the goal this week, whether they'll go past that or not. But it's obvious they're aiming. And I think they're putting them in that rhythm of something big's going to happen on Saturday. Something big's going to happen on Saturday. So, and I think the other thing Clay told us is, yes, they are getting very close to making the decision about who's going to be the center. I'm trying to read between the lines. When you say that many good things about Toa Lobendon, which he did, that might be a preview that maybe Toa's not going to be this. They both want to be the center. I think they both like that idea. Toa still could play one of the other two positions, and even though he hasn't played at guard, I think he could play and still come back and be the center next year. Whereas for Nico, this is his last time around. It's going to be a tough decision because they both, I think, really want it and probably really kind of deserve it. And so if I'm just trying to mind read a little bit when I hear Clay saying all the wonderful things about Toa and what a great team guy he is to be going through all this and doing all these things, I'm thinking, is he kind of telling us it's going to be Nico?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Who knows? We got to talk to John Baxter and Michael Brown today, two people we don't hear a lot from. When asked if he was concerned about the kicking situation, Baxter just said, nope. That was it, and said, "Well, Clay's concerned." Hold on.
A double nope.
Yeah, because he then we said
nope twice.
Clay's concerned. Is he? Does that make you concerned? And he went, "Nope." So there's a big nope for that.
Yeah, he was, but then he said, I can't predict the future. You'll know as much about what's going to happen in that first game as I do. We'll see. We'll find out when we get there together. All that kind of thing. I think they're good kids, good athletes. Well, what are you working with him on? That's kind of between me and Michael Brown, for example. And again, Michael, his leg is certainly strong enough. I mean, he has no problem reaching the end zone. They had him directional kick one of them, and he basically kicked it over the flag, which is where he was supposed to kick it to the right flag. So it was a little bit of a breeze, but he's certainly, I think, going to do a fine job there. And they obviously last year let Matt Bormeister kick a lot more of them into the end zone, because they had until that time didn't have anybody that was regularly could do that. So I think they're going to pick up where they left off in terms of kicking the ball deep. And then Baxter talked about, because he's got all these kids that are these young kids and athletes, and he just went on and on about this freshman class and how talented they are, and just we get 3 or 4 more like this, but he just went down the list of guys how athletic they are, how much they're going to make these coverage teams. They don't know what they're doing as much yet, but how talented they are. And he just went on and on and on about how this freshman class is just really, really special, and it's hard to disagree.
Mm-hmm. He also said that a Jones will be returning, whether it's Velus or Jack Jones, but he said Ajane Harris, Jack Jones, and Velus are the 3 standouts for returning.
Yeah, he's not telling us anything any of us don't know. I mean, they have 5 or 6 guys or 7 or 8 guys on some days back there warming up, catching them, but it's all the way, it's been Velus Jones, Jack Jones, and Ajane Harris. They're just, how they're going to break that down. If I, again, trying to read the way they're saying things, usually they say the name Velus first. So what that means, it's just probably the way I would say it. I would probably mention him first.
Yeah. Lastly, we heard from Helton again. Dominique Davis was 2nd day in a row on defense. Helton said that that's actually helpful for them. Injuries at corner are a little thin right now as far as depth goes. We also got to hear from Dominique Davis himself.
Right, and he said he initiated it. And I think, a recognition of a couple of things. One, there's 4 guys ahead of him in the running, as running backs are really good. I mean, I think it's all of a sudden the awareness of Vavai Malapai after spring, and then you see Stephen Carr in person, and you think, and where Aka Cedric is, and you see a better Ronald Jones, and you think, what is my future there? And then you look at the cornerbacks, and you've got Greg Johnson is injured, and Jaquari Godfrey, 2 of the freshmen, which kind of thins out that group. So, it makes a lot of sense. He's got, speed. They believe in the speed. They've never, though, found exactly the right place to put him on offense. So I think this just makes some sense. He said it took a while to get, comfortable and learn all the defenses. He thought he had picked that up yesterday. Wasn't going to get a chance to show it today. And with the understanding he can go back if he wants to. But this is the kind of thing that could be best for Dominic and could be best for the team.
Mm-hmm. I already said lastly, but this is the last one. We already mentioned how the O-line is kind of filling in and how important tomorrow is scrimmage-wise for some guys. What other positions will it be very pivotal for them?
Well, I think when Clay starts talking about the O-line and he's now saying we want to really be set with the best 5 guys for the moment. And then he said for the Western Michigan game. But he never doesn't say that there may not be a place in 3 or 4 weeks for a couple of freshmen. So he's never closing this down. I think that's a very good way to coach it, because it makes it clear competition doesn't start with game 1 or finish with game 1. And there are a couple of guys there who really maybe have a chance to break into that top 5. So you basically right now have 7 or 8, and then you've got the 2 freshmen, Voorhees and Jackson. So, that's a 10, kind of a 10 deep. I mean, Jordan Austin, I think, has played really well, this camp. So I think they're doing a good job in saying the competition is not going to end with camp. It's going to keep going on. And they're not taking those freshmen out of the mix. So I think that's a good way to do it. It won't be first 3 games and everything's settled for the rest of the year. I think they say, nope, last year they were just getting started and figuring out where to go after the first 3 or 4 games. That's how they're telling them for this year.
Mm-hmm. All right, that's going to wrap it up for day 11 of fall camp. For Dan Weber, I'm Keely Eure. For more, check out uscfootball.com.